Hi, I'm astrologer and life coach Penny Dix, and welcome to my YouTube channel, and also welcome to my overview for the astrology for June 2022. This will be followed by all your individual zodiac signs. They're all going to be time-stamped in the description box. And remember to check out not only your sun sign, but your rising sign, also known as the ascendant. So I just want you to breathe, because all journeys end, but the destination presents us with yet another series of soul growth provoking journeys. I just wanted to start with that thought. So we've got the sun in Gemini. So how is this going to affect us, and what is going on this month? Let's just have a little look at the details. It's a month of extraordinarily powerful energies. I know, because we've already got Pluto in Capricorn going retrograde, and that's okay. That's okay. He's just retracing his steps over areas of life that have needed to be gone back over. But we've also got one of my other lovely big boys, Saturn, turning retrograde on the 4th in Aquarius. Now, Saturn is about boundaries, restrictions, rules, slowing things down. And Saturn is a planet of timing. Take advantage of Saturn retrograde to reflect on what's going on for you. And that sometimes it's not the right time to take an action. Sometimes we have to just really tune into that kind of what I would say, that Piscean energy, which is about the intuition and our more psychic abilities to be able to recognize when it's time to speak and not to speak. Because remember, Mercury starts the month still retrograde, but Mercury does go direct on the 3rd. So thank goodness for that. But Mercury will still be in his shadow. So Mercury will be moving back from Taurus, where he retrograded into, and into the home sign of Gemini. So that will just free things up. But it will be in shadow for a good 10 days to 2 weeks. So you may still experience some of those kind of Mercury retrograde energies. But I want to tell you about Neptune, because Neptune, a wonderful big boy in Pisces. Neptune rules Pisces. Neptune is full of hidden depths. Neptune is going retrograde on the 28th in Pisces. Now, why am I excited about this? Well, if you remember last month in May, we had Mars conjunct Neptune. So Mars, of course, has now moved into Aries, and I'm going to talk about Mars in a minute, because that's also super exciting now that Mars is in Aries, the sign he rules. But Neptune is also giving us a chance to reflect, because Neptune going retrograde in Pisces is, Neptune, as I said, can be the sea, can be the ocean, it's water, can be flooding. We can find our washing machines overflow with Neptune energy. And, that Mars-Neptune conjunction we had in May, that can bring that kind of energy. So hopefully not. Hopefully all your appliances are working absolutely as they should. So Mercury going retrograde, we could see, Neptune going retrograde, we could see a resurgence in some areas of the world of COVID. because Neptune can represent viruses. So it's just to kind of keep a kind of eye out on that. But let's look at Mars, because Mars, our fiery planet of energy, our god of action, our god of war, sexuality, don't forget that, sexuality and passion, that's also one of Mars's little tricks. And Mars is going to be conjunct in Aries with our expansive outer big boy, Jupiter. Jupiter expands. Jupiter is opportunity and luck. Now, Mars conjunct Jupiter. This means that whatever Mars is bringing up is going to be expanded. How's that going to play out? Well, we might just have to wait and see. But I'm just warning you that if you find your temper is a bit short around personal events that are going on for you during that first kind of week or so of June, don't kind of get caught into the expansive anger that Mars can represent. Takes Saturn's slowing down to stand back, reflect, and think, you know, once words are out, they can't be taken back. Once it's said, it's said. So just bear that in mind. How is the planet going to fare this month? Well, the sun's in Gemini. Gemini is all about communication. And then it will move on the 21st, the summer solstice, it will move into the home-loving sign of Cancer. This mix of Gemini and communication and Cancer and home, I think, shows how the summer months, especially June, we'll be connecting again with friends and family that we've not been able to because of all the restrictions of the last couple of years. So this could be really a super nice time to just sit back, relax, and have some fun. So, but what's happening in general terms for the planet? You know, we have got some inflammatory and volatile situations worldwide, including the continued volatility in the financial world. And this is because Uranus is in Taurus. Uranus upsets apple carts. Uranus brings shocks. Uranus brings the unexpected. Uranus is not happy in Taurus. Taurus is about finance. It's about money. It's about value. It's also about earth matters. So I think we're still just going to see this kind of seesaw energy that we've been having with Uranus in Taurus. And we're still going to be feeling the effects through June of that powerful lunar eclipse in Scorpio, full moon on May 16th. And there could be dark, murky secrets that are still going to come to light. And you know what? I think karma has its day. But before we go on to how it's going to affect you personally, let's just have a look at who Gemini is, because Gemini is a mutable air sign. Gemini spends a lot of time in kind of thoughtful meanderings, because Gemini is searching for the meaning of their life. And somehow, that if they find that meaning, it will ground them. They're prolific chatterboxes, and they'll interrogate you in the most charming way. Because what they're trying to do is, if they can understand how the world works for you, perhaps they can understand how the world can work for them. Gemini, of course, is also the sign of journalism and writing. So you'll see many successful journalists and authors with either their natal sun in Gemini or Gemini strongly aspected in their chart, be it the moon, the rising sign, or a significant planet like Mercury. Mercury in Gemini in a chart is going to more or less be an absolutely foredrawn kind of solution that this person is going to be good at writing. Gemini is a likable sign, but they're not always as reliable as they could be because they keep changing and flitting. And you know, but they do have this endearing charm. And I think that really helps them get away with a lot. How are you going to fare personally? Well, in some ways, the energy of June is, oh my God, when do I get some respite from all the stuff that's going on, all the challenging energies that are in our lives? And even though we've got 3 of these outer big boys retrograde, which does bring a kind of sense of slowing down, I think we're still going to be feeling as if life is speeded up. That's partly because there's so much energy in the sign of Aries. You know, Jupiter's there. It is going to speed things up. So we've got this kind of conflict, this kind of, it's almost a bit not quite balanced. But with Jupiter in Aries, do have a think about what was happening for you 12 years ago. That was 2010. Because similar energies would be around for you over the next few months. Jupiter will move back into Pisces, and then finally it moves into Aries properly, so to speak, next year. And I do think as we head into the sort of real summer, that we will get some respite and rest, and that the answers we're looking for will come. We have a full moon this month in Sagittarius, and that is on, just let me check what date that's on. It's on the 14th. It's on the 14th. And this full moon, I do my full moon video specifically, so I'm not going to go into big details, but let's just give you sort of just a couple of heads up headlines for this full moon. It's in Sagittarius. Revelations will bring transformative change. Deep wounds need to heal as truths are revealed. Then we're going to get the summer solstice on June 21st, and I'm going to do a separate video about the solstice too. But it's a time to set positive intentions for the next kind of quarter of the year. And I just want to add a little heads up here, which is there's wisdom in delays. Trust that. Now, the new moon is in Cancer this month. And let me see what the date is, on the 29th. So what are my kind of heads up for the new moon in Cancer? Well, Cancer is emotional sign. So I think this new moon could have emotions running high. And there's a rawness and truth that we have to face before we can have those new beginnings represented by the Cancer new moon. So my final thoughts for June's overview for 2022 are that the tsunami of the last few months will show signs towards the middle and end of June of settling, as waters recede with Neptune going retrograde, and the treasures of the deep get revealed. So please remember to like, comment and subscribe. And also, I am now going to, in a few moments, go on to do your individual star signs and rising signs. So thank you so much for joining me for this part of the video, and I will see you shortly. Bye for now. Aries. So this is for the sun in Aries or for the ascendant. Aries, how are you? I mean, you do have a lot of energy, but wow, with Jupiter now in your sign, you must be rushing around chasing your tail. It is an extraordinarily kind of active time for you, Aries. The main focus of the energies for you this month are in Gemini, and that's the part of your chart to do with specifically communication. Also, your kind of local community, the kind of friends you have around you locally. Then, of course, on the 21st, on the summer solstice, the sun will move into Cancer, and then the emphasis will be focused on your home life. You may have some time off. You may spend a staycation at home and just have a few days off or a week to just chill out and kind of enjoy some of the summer. Now, thank goodness your ruling planet Mercury, who has been retrograding in Taurus now, goes direct on the 3rd. Now, this is super cool because this is in the part of your chart that is to do with finance. So if there's some money that's been owed to you, it may materialize at this time. But it's also about how you value yourself, Aries. And how is your self-talk? How do you congratulate yourself or talk to yourself? Because even though Aries can have quite a kind of powerful ego, there's another side to you where you kind of are not always sure that, well, Aries is innocent. Aries is that kind of first sign of the zodiac. So sometimes your self-talk may be self-doubt. And I think with Mercury going direct again and coming back into Gemini, into the house of communication, that's going to make a huge difference for you. And I think you're going to be feeling much more certain and powerful about what you want to say, who you want to say it to, and how you put it across. But let's look at the big boy Jupiter, because Jupiter, our planet of luck, opportunity, expansion, is in your sign, Aries. How super cool is this? You are going to be feeling like you are firing on all cylinders. Get enough rest. It can tire anyone out, this kind of energy. During the first week of June, Mars, your ruling planet, who is our god of war, assertion, aggression, sexuality, is going to be conjunct Jupiter. Now, because this is about you, this is about the self, I think there's a couple of ways we can take this. One is that I think people are going to experience you as almost quite full on and quite attractive. So that kind of quality is going to come out. But I also think that the darker side of that is that if you are feeling aggressive about something or irritated by something, that this Mars-Jupiter energy could see you speaking out and kind of, maybe getting into heated discussions which perhaps don't serve you well. So bear that in mind. Venus, lovely Venus, our planet of love, relationship, and also of money, is in your second house, Taurus, of money. So I think you're going to experience an increase to your income. So whatever line of work you're in, you're really going to see your kind of bank account kind of build, in spite of what's going on in the world with, you know, the sort of the currency markets and the stock exchange, which is kind of doing this at the moment because of what's going on. So make the most of Venus in this part of your chart, because it will move on the 24th into Gemini. But let's also look at the planet Saturn, our big boy of timing, of slowdown, of rules, of structure, of boundaries. Because from the 4th, Saturn is going retrograde. In Aquarius, which is this part of your chart that is to do with the community at large, it's to do with hopes and wishes that you have about projects you'd like to initiate. And I just feel that there's a sense that you need to bide your time with certain projects that you want to launch. There's no harm in being prepared and going back and just looking at how you can make things a little bit tighter, more boundaried. Neptune, our planet of the deep, is in your 12th house, and that goes retrograde from the 28th. So you're going to be doing a lot of inner reflecting. And I think you're going to find that your intuition is spot on. The full moon this month is in your house of travel, Sagittarius, and that's on the 14th. So maybe you'll be looking at making some quite definite plans about traveling at this time. The summer solstice, of course, is on the 21st in Cancer, and that's at home. So I think it's a time to just rest easy and rest up around that solstice energy. And the moon, of course, the new moon is in Cancer, and that's on the 29th, and that's also at home. So this is giving you an opportunity to just set some new intentions about how you want your home life to be. It almost feels like you're renewing things or starting again. And maybe if there's been some discord or disputes at home, this is a chance to just kind of put that to rest. Aries, thank you so much for joining me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now. Taurus. So this is for the sun in Taurus or for the ascendant. Taurus. How are you faring with all this extraordinary energy in your first house of Taurus? It's a time of change, I think you'll be aware of by now. You had that powerful full moon lunar eclipse in your opposite sign of Scorpio last month. And I think you're still processing the kind of clearing that this was imploring you to do. But where's the emphasis this month? Because the sun, of course, is going to be in your second house of finance and value, Gemini. And I think there's going to be a sense that there's going to be a lot of communication about money. You might be looking at different ways of budgeting and just different ways of making your money work for you. The sun will move into Cancer on the 21st, the summer solstice, and that's in the part of your chart to do with communication. So I do think at that point things will be slowing down a little bit for you, Taurus, so that you'll have a chance to connect with neighbours and friends. And whereas you might have been so busy with all this energy in Taurus that you've neglected a few friends, you will be able to catch up a bit by the time the sun moves into this part of your chart. Now, Mercury, of course, has been retrograde in your sign of Taurus, but it does go direct on the 3rd. Now, Mercury has helped you reflect about your direction in life. Reflect about how you want to be seen in the world, how you want to come across. And as long as you've done the work, and Taurus, you are quite diligent, so you probably do try hard to make sure you learn from the various cosmic challenges that come along, then it will serve you well. And of course, Mercury is going to move into your house of finance, Gemini. So there's going to be a lot of information, and there could be about finance, and there could be some technical stuff that you have to do. Maybe you find a different way of planning your finances. We need to look at the Mars, Jupiter in Aries energy, which of course is your 12th house. And during the first week, they are conjunct. How's this going to play out for you? Well, on some level, I wonder whether you get some kind of real kind of powerful eureka, aha moments. Because this is your inner world, your psyche. You're waking up. You're waking up to a lot of stuff. So I think that first week of June is going to be extremely powerful for you, Taurus. But you have got your wonderful ruling planet Venus in your sign until the 24th. Now, Venus is really making you feel very good about yourself. It's lovely for you when you have Venus in your sign. She's about value. You feel more valued. You feel attractive. And, maybe love relationships are going well as well with this kind of energy around. But we mustn't forget that Saturn, my outer big boy, our planet of boundaries, rules, of timing, goes retrograde in Aquarius, which is the part of your chart to do with your sole purpose, your career, from the 4th. So Taurus, use this energy to go back and have a look at how you could restructure what it is you're passionate about, your career. How can you make that work better for you? You've got a few of these summer months before Saturn will go direct again to just kind of think about how you can, as I say, restructure and look at timing in when you let things out there. Just think about that, Taurus. Now, Neptune in your 11th house of hopes, wishes, of the community at large. Neptune has been really connecting you on quite a psychic level with almost like the collective unconscious. This has been super cool for you because Taurus, as a grounded, earthy person, a fixed sign, it's not always easy for you to get in touch with that kind of inner gut feeling. But I think Neptune has really helped you with this. Neptune is going retrograde from the 28th. So you are going to enjoy this beautiful energy for longer in this part of your chart. That can only serve you well. The full moon this month in Sagittarius is on the 14th. And it's in the part of your chart to do with other people's money and to do with endings, beginnings, commitment. So what are you committing to? I think it's quite exciting. I think there's something you're committing to got that right, committing to around the 14th, around that full moon, that is really going to be good for you and is going to help you really operate within your truth. The summer solstice, of course, is on the 21st and it's in Cancer, and of course that's in the part of your chart to do with communication. So I think you're going to be looking at how you can refine and condense and contain the way you communicate with others. The new moon on the 29th is also in this part of your chart to do with communication. And I just wonder if you're going to be writing things down. Maybe you've decided to write blogs or even write a book, but this energy would be really super helpful to work with on that score. So there you go, Taurus. That's, I think, what's going to unfold for you in June. And I wish you well. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now. Gemini. So this reading is for the Sun in Gemini or for the Ascendant. Gemini. How are you doing? Because when your ruling planet is retrograde, as in Mercury, it can be quite tough for you. You can feel lost for words. You can perhaps find it difficult to get your point across or have people really fully understand what you are getting at, for example. But the good news is Mercury is going direct on the 3rd. Whew. And even though it will be in what we call its shadow zone for a little while, you can cope with that. You can roll with that because you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Now, Mercury goes direct in Taurus, which is your your 12th house of the inner you, and it goes direct on the 3rd. And whilst it's in this part of your chart, Taurus, it's really good to kind of use it for some inner reflection. You know, we all can have quite negative self-talk at times. And Gemini is a kind of quite prolific overthinker. You will often perhaps beat yourself up about what you should have said, what you could have said, how you could have said it, should I have said it differently? And with Mercury going direct in this part of your chart, I think it's about embracing that and just recognizing that you can kind of just, Gemini, be kind to yourself. Please be kind. Don't put yourself through such a hard time all the time. But let's look at what other energy is going on, because in your 11th house, Aries, the part of your chart to do with your hopes and wishes, projects, plans, that kind of bigger collective community out there, we have Mars conjunct Jupiter in Aries. Now, let's see what this is about. So, Mars, of course, is assertion, energy, can be aggression. Jupiter is opportunity, luck, expansion. It's also about truth. So they are conjunct for the first week. You must strike, Gemini, while the iron is hot, so to speak, because this is giving you extraordinary energy to launch or somehow really concretize some idea or plan you've got, some project that you really want to get off the ground. You're an air sign, Gemini. You can elevate things, so start elevating. In your 9th house, your house of travel, higher learning, which is Aquarius, we have our planet Saturn, my big boy Saturn, who is about restrictions. Saturn is about boundaries. Saturn is about rules and also timing. From the 4th, Saturn is going retrograde in this part of your chart to do potentially with travel. You might be re-looking or rebooking trips that got cancelled when we couldn't go anywhere because of the pandemic. That could be one example of this energy. You could also be thinking about putting yourself through some kind of form of further education and really taking the time to somehow absorb this knowledge and get it kind of set in your mind. The other interesting energy is what's going on in your house of career, which is Pisces, because from the 28th, Neptune, who has been residing here for a very long time and will continue to do so, goes retrograde. If you felt that you're drowning in some areas of your work, your career, or you just kind of haven't been clear what direction to take, then Neptune is actually giving you the opportunity to try and find some clarity. So use some of the other cosmic energy to try and think clearly about your path, about where you want to see yourself in 12 years' time. Let's really throw it out there. Because remember that Jupiter in Aries in your 11th house. You had this energy 12 years ago in 2010. What did you initiate then? What did you lift off the ground? Well, I leave you to ponder that. The full moon in Sagittarius on the 14th is in your house of significant relationships. So there could be some very definite decisions being made about how you sort out your relationship in terms of looking at contracts, and you might actually decide to learn something together. You might decide to go on a course together to really enhance your understanding and knowledge. The summer solstice on the 21st is in your house of finance. That's always nice at this time of year for you, because I think it gives you an opportunity to kind of plan between now and the autumn equinox how you want your budgeting to kind of pan out over the next 2 to 3 months. And the new moon on the 29th is also in this part of your chart to do with finance. That's super cool. That's giving you an opportunity to set some intentions, to encourage more income, maybe to make your piggy bank work for you in a better way, to invest it in some way. I just also think in general, Gemini, you're going to be feeling better about yourself. Now that can't be bad, can it? Thank you so much for joining me, Gemini. And please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now. Cancer. So this reading is for the Sun in Cancer or for the Ascendant. Cancer. This time of year kind of gives you an opportunity for a little bit of inner reflection, because Gemini is the part of your chart to do with that kind of inner you, your psyche. And the Sun is here. And that's till the 21st before it moves into your sign. So I think sometimes as well, in those kind of 2 or 3 weeks before we lead up to our own kind of solar return, birthday day, that we do think about where we've been, what we've done, how things we could have done better. So I think there's some inner reflection going on. But when the Sun moves into your sign, you are really going to wake up. You are going to feel really kind of strong and powerful, and actually your health is going to be much better once the Sun moves into your sign. And remember, we've got the summer solstice. This is so significant for you. on the 21st when the sun moves into your sign. And this gives you a kind of a real opportunity to set the tone for the next kind of quarter year until we get to the autumn equinox. But let's look at what else has been going on. How have you coped with, the Mercury retrograde? Because Mercury goes direct on the 3rd in Taurus, which is the part of your chart to do with, plans and projects and all those kind of fascinating subjects that really get you, and also the community at large. So Mercury goes direct here, which is great because Mercury will move out of this sign into your 12th house, where, because you've had the sun here, I think Mercury, did I tell you when it's going direct? Yes, it's the 3rd, just in case I didn't. And I think because when it goes into the 12th house, which is this part of your chart to do with the inner you, it would be a great time to be talking to a counsellor or a therapist. And sometimes that can be done through journaling. Sometimes we just need to write down our thoughts or brainstorm. And that could be quite good use of this energy. Let's also look at what's going on in your career, because this is Aries for you. And during the first week of June, both Mars, our planet of energy, action, our god of war, aggression, sexuality, is conjunct our expansive outer boy, big boy Jupiter, our planet of luck, opportunity. Do you know, this is super cool for your career direction, Cancer. I'm really excited about what could open up for you. I think you're going to find you've got far more energy to address and do the sort of the things that need to be done for your particular career path, that soul path, that passion. And, you know, even if you're not of working kind of age, or even if you don't have a career that you make an income out of, this is about what feeds your soul, what you are passionate about. Because we all have to have something like that in our lives. And this is the part of the chart for you that is getting this extra boost of energy. But we need to also look at what's going on in the part of your chart, Aquarius, that's to do with commitment, endings, beginnings. Because from the 4th, Saturn, our big boy Saturn, who is all about slow down, timing, Saturn is about rules and boundaries, is going retrograde. You may find there are issues that come up for you that are to do with joint resources that need to tediously be gone over again. It may be that something comes back to you like a tax return that you've not dotted the I or crossed the T, and that you have to kind of just make some changes to it. And it's kind of like, you know, Saturn, it's laborious. It can be quite hard work. So that's part of what this energy is about. But we've also got to look at what's going on in the part of your chart, Pisces, which is to do for you with long distance travel, amongst other things. Because Neptune, the ruler of Pisces, that is all about no boundaries, you know, this is the opposite from Saturn and its boundaried kind of conditions. Neptune doesn't have any boundaries. So in Pisces, in this part of your chart going retrograde from the 28th, well, I think it could be interesting with travel. You might be re-looking at ideas you've had about journeys that couldn't be made over the last 2 years for obvious reasons, which I won't go into. There could also be something that you really want to work on and develop, and it would be something to do with your intuition and your psychic abilities. I know, Cancer, maybe you think you haven't got psychic abilities. Do you know what? We all have. We just forget how to use them. You remember as a child how you knew. You just somehow knew lots of things. Until, of course, we go to school and it's all kind of knocked out of us and taught out of us. Just bear that in mind, Cancer. The full moon for you this month is in Sagittarius on the 14th. And this is the part of your chart to do with your working routine, your day-to-day activities, also your health. I actually think this is a very good full moon for you. If there are health issues that you really need to have addressed, this is giving you the heads up to do something about it and kind of put that baby to bed, get that sorted, get that addressed. No more dragging your heels, Cancer. Get it sorted, get your life in order, get your health in order. Now the summer solstice, as I said earlier, is of course in Cancer. So really use this glorious energy to shine. Cancer, you could be quite shy and holding back, but actually, you know, you're a cardinal sign. And I think there's quite a bit of you that likes a bit of the limelight. You just kind of don't own up about it. Well, you know what, Cancer? Use the summer solstice to, you know, dance naked around a bonfire or whatever rocks your boat. And we have, of course, on the 29th, the new moon, also in Cancer. You've got such lovely energies this month to really initiate how people experience you, how people see you in life, how you want to come across. This is the month to reinvent yourself. There we go, Cancer. So, thank you so much for coming to watch your reading for June. And please like, comment, and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now. Leo. So this reading is for the Sun in Leo or for the Ascendant. Leo. 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 Well, you're having an interesting time of it, aren't you? Let me kind of just highlight the parts of your life that are currently under the spotlight. Well, the Sun, of course, is in Gemini as we start the month until the 21st. Now, this is the part of your chart, Gemini, that is to do with projects and plans and dreams and things you would really like to get going, you know, in that kind of way. Also, they are to do with the community at large. They're to do with sort of people out there. So you've got ideas. And the Sun, of course, and I'm going to come back to that, don't worry. The Sun, of course, will move into your 12th house, Cancer, for a little bit of light and reflection after the 21st on what's going on your inner self. Well, you know, you are going to need some time to just reflect, Leo. So much has been happening. You've been working so hard, Leo. You've really been working your little socks off. So you're going to need some time to reflect on what you've achieved so far. Let's look at your career and what's unfolding there. Your passion, your soul purpose. This is Taurus. And Mercury has been retrograde here for most of June and now into the beginning of, most of May and now into June. Mercury goes direct on the 3rd. So if you've been waiting for some communication to do with ideas you've got about your career, it will now come flooding in. So there might have been things that have been on hold, things you've been kind of drumming your fingers on the desk thinking, do they want me? Don't they want me? What's happening? You know, that's all going to start to shift and move forward. But really what is super exciting, well, another thing that is super exciting is what's happening in Aries. Because this is the 9th house, to do with travel, matters at a distance. It's also to do with kind of knowledge and learning and teaching. We have got Mars that rules Aries, our god of war, assertion, energy, action. Mars can also be sexuality and passion. I just throw that in for you. And Mars is conjunct Jupiter, my big boy, that is just hugely opportunistic. Brings opportunities, brings luck, brings expansion. I wouldn't be surprised if you're not making plans to travel. I think you will have the energy to look at how to initiate that, to start looking seriously at travel. I also think you're going to up your game with your knowledge. I think you're really going to be kind of, well, just kind of absolutely on the ball. Now, what I haven't mentioned yet is your 7th house Aquarius, which is the house of significant relationships. Ooh, little itch. Because Saturn, you've had here for some time. Saturn is our planet, our big boy planet of rules. It can also be commitment here. Settling down. Saturn is about timing. What in your life in terms of relationship has really benefited from or could benefit from timing? From the 4th, Saturn goes retrograde. Think about that and how that energy you could use in a constructive way. Your 8th house Pisces has also seen a huge amount of energy, and this can be other people's money, it can be joint resources. It's also about endings, beginnings, transformation, commitment. Neptune, who rules Pisces, is going retrograde from the 28th. How's this going to affect you? Well, because Neptune is in Pisces in this part of your chart, I really do feel that your intuition just keeps developing. I really feel that quite strongly. I also think that where there's been confusion about joint finances or money that's owed to you or anything in that kind of department of your life, that Neptune's retrograde will give you another chance to look at how you can address it. So the full moon for you in Sagittarius on the 14th is in your house of fun, partying, romantic relationships, love affairs, creativity. So I just think you could be in for quite a good time. I think there'll be some challenges with it, Leo, but you'll cope. You'll cope with this. And I do my in-depth look to the full moon where I would expand on these few little headlines. The summer solstice, of course, is in Cancer on the 21st in the part of your chart to do with that inner you, that inner reflection. So remember that when Cancer is here, when the sun is here, you can tend to feel a little bit shadowed in the dark. Listen, you remember that full moon lunar eclipse we had on the 16th of May in Scorpio. you know, which is a fixed sign, opposite Taurus, which is a fixed sign. Leo, you're a fixed sign, so is Aquarius, your opposite sign. There would have been something about this eclipse that I think made you feel a bit eclipsed, or your energies were a bit just flagging. So because you have the solstice here, it just slows you down a bit. But the new moon is also here on the 29th. That's when you get those wonderful, that's what this is all about moments. You really get to sense where this is all going. How cool is that? Okay, so Leo, thank you so much for joining me for your reading. And please like, comment, and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now. Virgo. So this reading is for the Sun in Virgo or for the Ascendant. Virgo. There's a big emphasis on your kind of career this month, your passion, your soul purpose. If you're not clear what it is, then you need to start really working out and using this Sun in Gemini energy to not overthink it, but to find a solution. Because by the time the Sun moves into Cancer, in that part of your chart to do with your dreams, your projects, your hopes, your ideals, that kind of higher level of energy, you need to be clear about where you want to go and what you want to do. Because what we need to remember is that Mercury has been retrograde, our planet of communication, has been retrograde in Taurus and in Gemini. Now, Mercury moves direct on the 3rd in Taurus, and that's the part of your chart that is to do with higher-minded matters. And I want to stay with that because I think this is not so much about travel, although Mercury in the 9th house can be about travel. There may be ideas you've got to make some journeys. They may be in the thinking stage or the talking stage. But Mercury is going to move from Taurus back into your 10th house Gemini. And then things are going to speed up for you with your work or your career or your kind of, you know, your sole purpose. So the ideas will come flooding in. If you've been a bit lost as to what you should do or how to use all that kind of Virgo energy in a constructive way, then it will come when Mercury goes direct on the 3rd. Now, the 8th house Aries, during that first week, now the 8th house is very much about joint finances. It's about our resources in general. It's about other people's money. It can also be commitment. Other people's money. Sorry, I've just said that. Commitment. Can be endings and beginnings. Transformation. Now, during the first week, Mars, our planet of action, energy, aggression, can also be sexuality. And you know what? So, can the 8th house be about sexuality? Mars will be conjunct Jupiter, my outer big boy, who is all about, excuse me, expansion, opportunity and luck. Maybe this conjunct energy will be very good for your sex life. What else can I say? I think I've probably said too much already. So let's also look at what's going on in Aquarius, because Aquarius is the part of your chart that is to do with your day-to-day working routine. Also your health, anything that affects your health. Now, you've had Saturn here for some time. Saturn, our outer big boy of restrictions, of commitment, of slowing down and timing, is going retrograde from the 4th. Virgo, if there are things you need to address with your routine, use Saturn's retrograde to address it. If there are matters to do with your health that you need to address, use Saturn's retrograde to address it. Make those doctor's appointments. Don't neglect. Act. The other thing we've got, of course, you've had in Pisces, which is the part of your chart to do with your significant close relationships, which is Pisces. You've had Neptune here for many years, and you will have Neptune here for many more years. And Neptune is going retrograde from the 28th. Now, what's this going to mean in terms of your close relationships? Well, I think it brings in quite a kind of soft, empathic energy, a little bit of romance, a little bit of kind of psychic intuition about almost like being in tune with your other, with your significant other, knowing what they're feeling, knowing what they're thinking. But remember, Neptune can also be smoke screens. So maybe just kind of hold back and check out what that might be about. Neptune is also about hidden depths. Is there someone in your life, someone who perhaps could be a significant other, that you have not really fully acknowledged for what could be hidden depths that could be extremely exciting? The full moon for you this month, on the 14th in Sagittarius, is at home. It's in the part of your chart to do with home. So, this could be time for a clear out. You may be thinking of, really doing a bit of spring cleaning with this kind of energy. Wanting to find what hidden gems you've got hidden in the man drawer or any other kind of deep, dark space part of your particular residence. The summer solstice on the 21st, of course, in Cancer, is in the part of your chart to do with your dreams and your hopes and your wishes. So it's always a good time for you, Virgo, to set your intentions for the next 2 to 3 months up to the autumn equinox in September of what you'd like to manifest in the next few months. The new moon this month in Cancer on the 29th is in the part of your chart, which I've already mentioned. It's the part of your chart to do with your dreams and your hopes and your wishes. Set your intentions. You've got kind of like a double whammy with this. You've got the 21st and you've got the 29th. Use this energy creatively. Use it sympathetically. Invite into your life what would really, really feed your soul. Thank you for joining me, Virgo, for your reading. And please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now. Libra. So this reading is for the Sun in Libra or for the Ascendant. I think you have itchy feet. I think that there is this real part of you that just wants to go, to travel. And this is partly because the Sun is currently in Gemini, in the part of your chart to do with long distance travel. And I think if you haven't already made plans, you will be making plans while the Sun's here. And you may already be on a journey somewhere interesting and exciting, and all the better if it involves some kind of learning and knowledge as well. I think that the combination of the two for you, Libra, is really quite good. I'm not sure you want to just sit back on a sunbed by a beach, not for too long anyway. The sun on the 21st will move into Cancer, and that's to do with your more professional life and your working life. So the emphasis will change then, and you'll be looking towards what changes you can make in your career. But let's talk about Mercury, because how has Mercury retrograde affected you? Because it's been in Taurus for a while, in the part of your chart that is to do with joint resources, other people's money, can be tax and all those kind of horrible things, or challenging things, let's put it that way. And the good news is that Mercury is going direct on the 3rd. So if you've been kind of wrestling with joint finances, trying to balance the books, suddenly it will all kind of start to fall into place and you'll get it completed. Thank goodness for that. But we really need to look at what's going on in your 7th house. Now, the 7th house is Aries, and this is the part of your chart that is to do with significant close relationships. You have Mars and Jupiter here in a very tight meeting, in a very tight conjunction. Now, Jupiter, who is the biggest of my big boys, brings opportunity, luck, expansion. Mars, of course, is our god of action, sexuality. Mars is also assertive behavior and can be arguments. So if there's any words that need to be kind of soothed, then use the Jupiter energy in a positive way to really make sure that you iron out any problems that you've got with a significant loved one, and use the energy to enjoy yourselves. What else is going on? And we have to look at our big boy Saturn. Saturn is our planet of boundaries, restrictions, rules. It's also about timing. Now, Saturn is in Aquarius in the part of your chart that is actually to do with fun and creativity. It's Aquarius for you. And from the 4th, Saturn is slowing down and going retrograde. So how's this going to affect your kind of social life? You know, partying and having fun and creative projects, anything that you like to do with friends, and it can even be romance. Well, I think Saturn is putting the brakes on. And I think Saturn's putting the brakes on for a very good reason. That perhaps you just need to slow down, use the energy of the 9th house where the sun is in Gemini to chill out a bit, to travel, to have a little bit of time out and feed your mind with something new and fresh. We also need to look at what's going on in your 6th house of day-to-day activities, also health matters, because this is Pisces for you. And Neptune has been here for a very long time and is going to continue to be here for a very long time. Neptune rules Pisces. Neptune doesn't have any boundaries. So whilst Neptune has been traversing this part of your chart, you might have found it over the last few years difficult sometimes to keep your routine tight and bounder it, and, you know, get carried away with one subject. And there can also be with this Neptune that you've suffered from irritating little health problems like niggling viruses that won't go away. Well, Neptune is going retrograde from the 28th, and this is just going to kind of give you a chance to pause, reflect, and look back at how you can kind of refine your day-to-day routine, and maybe take some of that Saturn slowing down energy in your 5th house to look at how you can use that to just structure your working routine and your day-to-day routine in a better way. The full moon this month is in Sagittarius, and it's in your third house of communication. It's on the 14th. I think there's going to be a bit of a chopping and changing with certain people, certain friends in your neighborhood that perhaps you just find it's like, we outgrow each other. And I just wonder if this full moon is you kind of making a clean sweep and thinking about whom do I want people in my circle, I think you'll be thinking, who really get me. It's terribly important that people get us. And there's not many people that do, so I think that's part of that energy. The other thing is we've got the summer solstice on the 21st, and it's in that part of your chart, Cancer, to do with your career. Now, this gives you a chance to look at the next quarter of the year up to the autumn equinox. So this gives you this opportunity to think about what you want to intend, what you want to bring in for the next few months. And then we have a new moon here in Cancer on the 29th in the same area. So this is a wonderful opportunity to set your intentions for what you want to bring in the future to your kind of your career, your soul purpose. Even if you're retired and not working, we all still have hobbies and passions. And this is a lovely energy to look at how you can really work with that and what you can sort of achieve with the things, the subjects, the crafts that you're passionate about. So Libra, thank you so much for joining me. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe. That would be really lovely, thank you. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now. Scorpio. So this reading is for the sun in Scorpio or for the ascendant. Scorpio, did you survive the total lunar eclipse full moon in your sign on the 16th of May? Whoa, was that a powerful one? My goodness. I think we've all felt the effects of it in varying ways, and I wonder how it's affected you. The emphasis for you now, Scorpio, moves into the part of your chart to do with transformation, endings, beginnings, and starting afresh with something new, which is the 8th house, and it's Gemini for you. The sun is here. So I think the sun is saying whatever it was that kind of may have been taken from you during that lunar eclipse, or whatever you decided did not serve you in the right way anymore, then this is super energy having the sun here, because it's like shedding its light. It's saying, look, you may have lost something, but you've gained yourself, and you've gained this inner part of you that is so important for us to be feeling kind of fulfilled in life. On the 21st, the sun will move into Cancer, and that's the part of your chart that is to do with travel. So it may be that with all the sort of, events of the last couple of months, it might be a really timely opportunity to travel, especially because that links in with the summer solstice on the 21st. And that's in the same part of the chart, Cancer. And that would be like setting intentions for the next kind of quarter year up to the autumn equinox. So maybe you need to plan some journeys, something that takes you away, takes you out of yourself, and where you can feel more comfortable. A way to nurture yourself, Scorpio. But let's look at the Mercury retrograde. How did you fare with that through the last few weeks? Because it started out in Gemini, it moved back into Taurus, which of course is your house of significant relationships. And finally, Mercury is going direct on the 3rd in Taurus. Now, this might mean that something that you thought was over and finished, that someone pops back. This is somebody who's has been or is still very important to you. So it's like there seem to be some final words to be communicated. So just be mindful of that. You know, sometimes closing doors on the past is not easy. And for Scorpio, with that lunar eclipse, there may be quite a few of you, if you've had your own personal planets like your sun or your ascendant or your moon strongly aspected by that lunar eclipse. It was at 25 degrees for anyone who actually knows the degree points in their chart. It probably had quite dramatic effects over a period of time. It wouldn't have necessarily just been on that day. But let's also look at what's happening in your 6th house, because this is Aries, and this is about your day-to-day routine and how you serve others also. So, you know, Scorpio, it's so important that we not only serve ourselves, but serve others. And this is Aries for you, and you've got both Jupiter. You've got a taste of what's going to happen when Jupiter fully moves into this part of your chart next year. And Jupiter is conjunct our wonderful, fiery, energetic, exhausting planet Mars. Jupiter, as the biggest of my big boys, is just going to shake your daily routine up along with Mars. And the other thing that I think you have to be mindful of on the darker side, but we don't like to give energy to that, but I still think it's important to give you that heads up, is to say that sometimes that can indicate some kind of injury. So slow down. Use Saturn, which is a planet about timing, which is actually going retrograde from the 4th. Use that general overall energy to just take your time with things. Don't react, Scorpio. Respond. Give things time. So while we're talking about Saturn, Saturn is going retrograde in the part of your chart to do with the home. This is Aquarius. You might find you're working more at home with this kind of energy, because Aquarius can be the internet and anything electronic, and it may be out of choice that you choose to stay more within the boundaries of your home, where perhaps you feel more comfortable and safer. So I think that Saturn retrograde is going to be quite helpful for you. The other thing we need to look at is what's going on in your 5th house of fun, of creativity, of artistic pursuits like singing, playing music, dancing, acting. Because this is Pisces for you, and I think there is this side to you that really sometimes needs to get quite lost and drown in a good way, in anything artistic and creative. And if you're not doing that, you know, it would serve you so well. You've got Neptune here. Neptune rules Pisces, and Neptune kind of, it takes away the boundaries of time so that you can get lost with this kind of energy in this part of the chart. and also be incredibly creative and come up with wonderful, intuitive ideas. Well, Neptune is going retrograde from the 28th, so this planet has been here for some time and will continue to do so, or be there, and just make the most of this kind of, it's like being rocked to sleep in a lovely boat as it's just bobbing around on the ocean. So just enjoy that energy. The full moon this month is in Sagittarius. It's on the 14th and it's in your house of finance. So there could be something that either it represents something coming back to you that has been owed. It could be the conclusion of some kind of transaction. But also we have to look at the full moon as shedding light on what might be hidden in terms of your finances, that maybe you need to really kind of use that kind of Sagittarian energy to really go into the sort of the details and use that power to just make sure you've got all your budgets and budgeting as you need it. It's also about self-worth. So if you've been feeling a little bit put on or put out, then I think this full moon will see you taking back your power. The summer solstice on the 21st is in Cancer, and it's in the 9th house, and this is going to be super nice for you, because I think you will be making plans to go to foreign shores. And the new moon this month is in Cancer too on the 29th. So I feel that there really is a need for you to make some longer journeys away from your base and to just chill for a while. Scorpio, you've had a little bit of a challenging time. You need a rest. Thank you so much for joining me for your reading. And please like, comment, subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now. Sagittarius. This reading is for the Sun in Sagittarius or for the Ascendant. How are you? How's things going? How's things going with your significant, close personal relationships or ship? Because the Sun is in this part of your chart for the first part of the month in Gemini. And so it's shedding light on your personal relationships. And I think this is always a time of year when the Sun is here, when you like to enjoy a little bit of, social gatherings with the people that you really get on with well, and especially, as I say, significant people in your life. And that's kind of helped, funnily enough, this month, because both Mars and Jupiter are in Aries and they're conjunct. And this is the part of your chart that is to do with specifically kind of partying and having fun. So I think you could be, certainly the first week of June, you could be in for quite a good time and actually just really relaxing and having fun, like we haven't really been able to do much of. None of us in the last kind of, few months. So I'll just tell you a little bit about Mars, because Mars is about energy, action, can also be passion and sexuality. So it's really a super lovely energy to have combined with the biggest of my big outer boys, Jupiter, who brings luck and opportunity. So that energy is around for the first week, and that really is super cool for you. And by the 21st, of course, Mars and Jupiter will have separated a bit, and the Sun will move into Cancer, which is the part of your chart that is to do with joint resources. So you may at that time be looking at your budgeting and how to think about budgeting for the next kind of quarter year, because this coincides with the summer solstice on the 21st, which then, of course, in turn leads us up to the autumn equinox. And that's really important, because I think if we divide the years into these kind of quarters, then each equinox and solstice gives us that opportunity to clearly think about what we want to intend into our lives over the next 2 to 3 months. But I haven't talked about Mercury, have I? Our planet of communication, because of course Mercury has been causing havoc for you with your kind of working routine, because Mercury has been retrograde. Hopefully you've survived all of that. Missed emails, missed appointments, things getting cancelled, you turning up and finding, oh, we thought it was the other day, or whatever. So Mercury, the good news, is going direct on the 3rd, and that is going to be a relief for all of us. And Mercury will, of course, then move back into your 7th house, Gemini, which, of course, is all about relationships. So there'll be a lot of communication going on when Mercury moves into this part of your chart. Let's also look at what's happening in your 3rd house, Aquarius, because, excuse me, this is all about communication. It can be about writing. It can be about the local kind of sort of community and local neighborhood. It can also be short journeys. Now, Saturn has been here for a while, and Saturn is going retrograde on the 4th. Now, Saturn, my big boy Saturn, is all about boundaries. Saturn is about structure and timing. Now, Sagittarius, you have a very quick mind because Jupiter is your ruling planet, and you know, Gemini is your opposite sign. So you have some of those kind of Gemini qualities of quick thinking. Now, I do feel that what Saturn is asking you to do with this retrograde, which will be through the summer months, is to recognize when it's time to speak and when it's time to keep quiet. And I think if you can be mindful of that kind of approach to your communication, it will serve you well. Let's also look at what's going on at home, which is Pisces, which is the 4th house. And this is to do with your family. Neptune has been here for many years and will be here for many more years. I'm not going to go into the details of it, but Neptune rules Pisces. Neptune, this big ocean of emotion, of just no boundaries, is out there kind of it feels like many of you with Neptune here may have wanted to have the color blue in your home, because it's the sea. It's that kind of ethereal kind of feel. You know, you may have an aquarium and fish floating around. Well, not floating around, because hopefully they're swimming around. Let's have fish swimming around. So anyway, the whole point of this is that Neptune is going retrograde on the 28th. So it's just to give you the heads up that I really feel it's important with Neptune that you use your intuition to think about how family members are getting on. And, you know, is there a family member that maybe feels left out? So these are the kind of energies that one can focus on. And, you know, Neptune and Pisces are about empathy and really sensing intuitively what's wrong with another. So try and use that energy that Neptune brings you in this part of your chart. The full moon this month is in your sign, Sagittarius, and it's on the 14th. So this is super cool for you. You know, when we have the full moons in our sign, they always bring change. It may not be big dramatic change, and it may just be that you feel differently, or you just feel you're done with something, or you're done with a way of behaving. And of course, for the last 18 months up until the beginning of this year, you had the nodes in your sign along with the sign of Gemini. So you had the South Node in Sagittarius whilst the North Node was in Gemini. So you experienced what Taurus and Scorpio are now experiencing with eclipses, with quite dramatic change, or the dramatic change that the nodes and the eclipses can bring into your life. So the summer solstice, as I've mentioned, is on the 21st in Cancer, and it's in the part of your chart to do with transformation, amongst other things. So use it in a kind of dreamy way. Cancer is nurturing. Maybe you need to nurture others who are dependent on you. And just to keep that kind of thought of how do you want things to unfold for the next 2 to 3 months. You've also got the new moon on the 29th in the same part of your chart, Cancer. So there's some new opportunities coming in to perhaps inject some more funds into joint resources. So you could see a little bit of an increase in your income with the new moon here. Sagittarius, thank you so much for joining me. And please remember to like, comment and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now. Capricorn. So this reading is for the Sun in Capricorn or for the Ascendant. Capricorn. Well, it's been quite a time, hasn't it? And now you've got your lovely planet, big boy, who's actually quite a small boy, Pluto, in your sign going retrograde. It's making you go over some old things. It's almost like you're having to close the books on something, like you're just, going back and just tidying things up and looking at where you can really kind of shift and transform and let things go. Your ruler, Saturn, is in your second house of finance, which really helps you to start making some sort of good, solid headway with your finances, putting down roots, structuring your finance so that it will work better for you. Now, Saturn is going retrograde from the 4th, but don't worry about this. I think it's just giving you time to reflect and to really be quite strict with yourself about how you budget and, kind of thinking forwards to how things will be in the future, because it may be that there could be, because I was looking at what's going on in your 4th house, and there could be something to do with property or house moves, change of location. So that energy is about. But we start the month with the Sun in Gemini, and that's in the part of your chart to do with your day-to-day routine. And I think that when the Sun is here, you're actually feeling better about yourself, because the Sun is radiant, it's the soul, it's life. And the 6th house can very much be about our health. And if you've had some health issues or concerns, then I think the Sun's warmth here is really going to help you feel a lot better and a lot more confident. And you're going to be communicating more and feeling a little bit sharper with how you convey what you need to convey. On the 21st, of course, the Sun will move into Cancer. And this is the part of your chart that is to do with your close personal relationships. So once again, this brings close loved ones under the spotlight. And the Sun, I think, just brings, again, life and vitality into your significant relationships. So enjoy that kind of energy while the sun is here. But let's look at Mercury, because Mercury, our planet of communication, of course, has been retrograde through most of May. And you'll be relieved to hear Mercury finally goes direct on the 3rd. And this is in Taurus, because Mercury went backwards out of Gemini into Taurus, which is the part of your chart to do with fun and creativity. So you might have found that you were able to revisit some ideas and plans and kind of creative projects that had been put on hold. You know, Mercury doesn't have to be kind of negative. It can actually bring in quite good things. And I think also that Mercury, once it goes direct again, you will see things start to speed up. I think there'll be more social occasions going on, chances for romance even. That's another positive benefit of Mercury in this part of your chart. The other, of course, very exciting news is what's going on in Aries. And this is your home and family. This is super exciting. You have Jupiter here, my big outer boy, Jupiter. Jupiter, our planet of luck, opportunity, expansion. This is lovely energy to have here. And a lot of you may very seriously be thinking about changing your location, moving house, or at least making extraordinary changes within the place that you live. Jupiter's energy here really does shake things up. And even if you only have thoughts now about, what if I moved away across the sea or whatever? By 2023, when Jupiter moves fully into Aries, because it's going to retreat back into Pisces for a while, then you may seriously be thinking about changing your location. And I think with this lovely energy of Mars, you are going to have the energy, because Mars is going to be conjunct Jupiter. Mars is energy assertion, it's action. You might find you move very suddenly with this kind of energy. You might think, that's it, I'm packing up and going. So don't be surprised at what might come up with that Jupiter in Aries and conjunct Mars. So let's look at what else is going on, because your 3rd house of communication, we have Neptune going retrograde on the 28th. I don't see this as any big problem for you. I think you may be actually dreaming about lots of things, and maybe that's the problem. You're daydreaming too much and not getting things done. So the way we work with this energy is to be mindful of it and think, well, what could I do to actually turn this into a constructive way? You know, Neptune, creativity, intuition, write a fantasy story, you know, or just get lost in a few daydreams. There's lots of ways we can work with this energy. But the full moon this month is in Sagittarius, and it's on the 14th. It's in the part of your chart to do with that inner you. So this for me feels that you do kind of feel that you have some kind of better, complete understanding of who you are and of what you want in your life and what you don't want. It feels like you get in touch with an inner truth, with that authentic self. So The new moon this month is in Cancer on the 29th, and it's in the part of your chart to do with significant relationships. If you're single and looking, it's an excellent opportunity to put yourself out there. Remember, Capricorn, we don't meet them sitting at home on our sofa. So that's what I want to say for you for this month. Please take care. Please like, comment and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now. Aquarius. So this reading is for the Sun in Aquarius or for the Ascendant. Aquarius. Slow down. Masterpieces aren't created overnight. You are a continual work in progress. Please try and stop rushing at things and getting it all done and dusted now. Now I'm saying this because Saturn in your sign, my big outer boy of boundaries, timing, and contraction, is slowing down to go retrograde. Saturn goes retrograde from the 4th. Oh no, you cry, this is awful. I've got so much to do. I've got so much I want to get done. Listen, Aquarius, Saturn knows what it's doing. It's giving you a chance to take your time. If you work with that slowing down energy of Saturn, it'll really serve you well. Because I think there's a lot going on in your kind of social life, much more than has been going on for quite some time. So you've got kind of work, social life conflicts, family conflicts, all these things you're trying to kind of keep the balls in the air, keep everything balanced. See, the Sun is in Gemini, in the part of your chart that is to do with creativity in your social life and just generally having fun. So it's shedding its light on there. There's a lot of chatter, there's a lot of talk going on, and that's fine. So in many ways, Aquarius, you need to just take time out and prioritize. Make that list of what is the most important thing that you need to get organized now. Because by the 21st, the Sun will move into Cancer. And this is the part of your chart that is very much to do with your day-to-day routine. Because it's Cancer, I do feel it's about you nurturing you. Find a better working routine. It'll really serve you well. We've got the summer solstice here on the 21st. So the plans that you set in place now to do with your working routine really stand you in good stead as we move towards the autumn equinox. Can't believe I'm talking about autumn already. We haven't had summer yet. Anyway, I digress. Let's also look at what's been going on with the Mercury retrograde. How have you fared with that? Because it's been quite, well, it gives us a chance to reflect, doesn't it? And I think maybe that is how you've used this energy, because it went retrograde in your 5th house of social chatter, amongst other things. And I think it's given you time to take time out and just think about what your priorities are, as I was saying a bit earlier. Now, Mercury is going direct on the 3rd in Taurus, and this is the part of your chart which is to do with your home and family. And I wonder whether the Mercury retrograde has given you time to reflect on how you want things to work better at home, with your family, the significant people in your life. Now, the second house for you is Pisces. And you have Neptune here. Neptune rules Pisces. Neptune has no boundaries. Neither does Pisces. I always call it an ocean of emotion. And this is the part of your chart to do with your finance. Does it all go out and not enough come in? Do you have to be super mindful of how you manage your finance? Do you feel a little bit kind of imprisoned by it? You know, sort of you're kind of a victim of your finance rather than you being in charge of it. Excuse me. Well, Neptune's going retrograde on the 28th. So use this retrograde to just look at how you can find some more intuitive ways to work with your finances. So the full moon this month on the 14th is in Sagittarius. And it's in the part of your chart to do with the community at large. It's also to do with kind of really significantly important projects that you may have, especially on the back burner. It's your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. So I wonder what will manifest around that time. That'll be interesting to see. The summer solstice, as I said, is on the 21st. And I am going to be doing a video specifically about the summer solstice. So I'll be talking a lot more about how it will affect you when I do that report. We also have the new moon in Cancer this month. And it's on the 29th in the same part of your chart to do with your day-to-day routine. So I feel by the end of June, something has kind of crystallized for you. And you breathe a sigh of relief as you think, that's better. This is the way to proceed. Do you know what's just coming to my mind? Volodymyr Zelensky, because he's an Aquarius. I think I'll listen back to this and see whether any of it might apply to him. Well, that was just an aside, or just a kind of random thought that came in, but there we go. So Aquarius, thank you so much for joining me. And please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now. Pisces. So this reading is for the Sun in Pisces off the Ascendant. How are you, Pisces, my little oceans of emotions? How are you? We've had some quite extraordinary energy over the last few weeks. Currently, the Sun is in Gemini, and it's the part of your chart that is to do with your home life and your family. So it's been shedding light on what needs to be discussed, talked about, organised, thought about within the home and family. Get these things sorted by the 21st, because then the Sun will move into Cancer, and that's going to be super nice for you. There's going to be more fun, sitting back, social times, creativity, and just generally kicking back and enjoying it. But how did Mercury retrograde affect you? Because, you know, we always kind of, you know, there's a general kind of feeling that Mercury retrograde is terrible. And yes, we get all the usual things. We can get technical problems. I've had technical problems and I like, why? It cannot be because Mercury is going retrograde. Why? But it does happen. It is quite extraordinary. And it also, though, the positive side of Mercury retrograde, it gives us time. It gives us time to look back at what perhaps needs to be gone over again or resaid or said in a different way. So Mercury began its retrograde phase in Gemini, which is the part of your chart to do with the home and family. And then it's moved backwards into Taurus, which is the third house of communication for you. So this may have made you feel super aware of how you need to communicate or get your message across in a way that people understand. It might be like people are going, what? Sorry? So but it may be that because of your Neptunian qualities, Pisces, that you're thinking it, but you're not being that clear with what you need to get across. So I think once Mercury goes direct on the 3rd, in the part of your chart that's to do with communication, it's just going to make life a lot easier for you. And then, of course, it will move back into Gemini, the sign it rules, and you can have some more constructive discussions with your family members. Let's look at what's happening in your money pot, because this is Aries, the 2nd house. You have a wonderful, expansive outer big boy, Jupiter, the planet of luck, opportunity, expansion. Whilst Jupiter is in this part of your chart, it is inevitable that more money will fill up your piggy bank, as long as you're not letting it go out as quickly as it comes in. Because Neptune and Pisces can be a little bit you're mutable. It can run through your fingers, be careful. But the exciting news is that Mars, our planet of energy, action, sexuality, money can be sexy. Mars is going to conjunct Jupiter. So I actually think you're going to be working hard for your money. And in all seriousness, that's what it's about. So that first week of June is going to be a week when you're going to be working super hard. Let's just look at Aquarius, because this is the part of your chart that is to do with where you reflect on an inner level, where you can feel a bit confined sometimes. You've got Saturn, my big outer boy Saturn, our planet of restriction, of boundaries, not something that Pisces necessarily finds easy. You've got Saturn here teaching you to slow down, to take your time. Saturn's going retrograde from the 4th for a few months. Take advantage of this Saturn retrograde to look more deeply within. What can you learn from what's been happening to you on an inner level over the last few months? If you can somehow get in touch with that energy, I think it would be very helpful use of this retrograde Saturn, so that you can continue to grow, continue to become more of your authentic self. Now, of course, you are hosting Neptune in Pisces, in your house. We know you're an ocean of emotion, and Neptune is going retrograde on the 28th. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? Or what do you think? I think it's quite good, because I feel it actually gives you, again, more chance for reflection on the events that have got you to this point this year. You know, it's a time to really tune into that intuitive psychic part of yourself and allow that kind of channeling to come through. This is one of the gifts that Neptune has been giving you whilst it's been in your sign. So I think a lot of people think, oh, I'm not psychic, and a lot of Pisces will probably think, no, I'm not psychic. We're all psychic. It doesn't matter what sun sign we're born under. Human beings have a sixth sense. I think there's a video in this. I think I will have to think about this because, yes, and I know exactly who I'm going to talk about it to. Brandon Russ, who is the conscious medium and astrologer that I've been doing a series of videos with. So if you're watching this, Brandon, I think we need to look at the sixth sense and how it aspects in all the different astrological signs. So that's a by the by. Let's just look, before we finish your reading, Pisces, at the full moon in Sagittarius on the 14th, in the part of your chart that is to do with your work and career. This is super news. This is going to really see you bringing to conclusion some project you've been working on to do with your career, and you're going to feel very excited about it. There's a strong feeling of that Jupiter, Sagittarius's ruler, opportunity and luck coming into this full moon. So just keep doing what you're doing, Pisces, because it will succeed. The new moon is in Cancer on the 29th, and it's in the part of your chart that is to do with fun. And I really do feel, Pisces, that you need to take some time out this month and have some R&R, rest and relaxation. It's so important for all of us. And I think, Pisces, because your boundaries aren't great, because you are an ocean of emotion, that you forget sometimes that you need to structure in. You're going to get Saturn coming into your sign in a couple of years' time. And boy, that's going to give you some structure. That's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds. But in the meantime, thank you so much for coming to watch this part of your video. Please like, comment and subscribe. And also, as this is the last of the zodiac for June, I just want to say that please check out some of the other videos on my YouTube channel, and also check out the joint videos I'm doing with conscious medium and astrologer Brandon Russ. They have an enormous amount of really educational astrological information in them. They're also really entertaining, and well, we think they are. Please let us know in the comments. So I just want to say, check those out. Go over and check Brandon's channel. He's a very entertaining astrologer and medium. So in the meantime, thank you so much again for joining me for the month of June, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.